I was 31 when I found my mom's 24 disposable cameras in an old box tucked away in the attic. The moment I pried open the dusty lid, the scent of aged cardboard and lingering memories embraced me, filling me with nostalgia and a hint of anxiety. The cameras lay there, lined up like soldiers from another era, each an artifact of our past, bright blue, a bit worn with age, and labeled in my mom's precise handwriting with the date, Y2K, or simply 2000. It struck me that she had organized them, one for each hour of New Year's Day. They were remnants of a celebration that seemed so significant at the time, just before the world braced itself for Y2K chaos. My mom had always been the enthusiastic planner. I recalled her excitement, a whirlwind of decorations, friends, and laughter, each moment embedded in my mind. Yet now, as I held those cameras, it was bittersweet. She had passed away just a year ago, and the grief had turned into a complex tapestry of longing and fear. I almost dismissed the idea of developing them, painful as it felt, yet something compelled me to dig deeper. Maybe I just wanted to feel closer to her again, to relive those memories, even if it meant confronting my aching heart. I ordered a developing kit online, resigned to see what lay within those ephemeral rolls. Slipping the first camera into the developer felt like unearthing buried treasures. Once the roll was processed, I stared at the first few images. They captured joyous moments, the light glinting off our midnight toast, friends laughing, the food spread across our table. Everything looked perfectly normal, a snapshot of mundane happiness. But as I pushed toward the last camera roll, anxiety seeped in. Something felt different. There was an unsettling gnawing in my gut, a whisper telling me that the final images might lead me into unfamiliar territory. But what I discovered on the last roll of film left me breathless. As I developed the last roll, my excitement warred with relentless tension. The initial snapshots were typical, but as I flipped through the mundane images of our Y2K party, there was a creeping sense of foreboding. Each click of the developing machine grew heavier with anticipation. And then came the critical photograph. My heart dropped. There I was, standing alone at my mom's grave. I wasn't just at the memorial. The photograph was time-stamped to yesterday. Yesterday, the same day I had been treating myself to a coffee, blissfully unaware of the invoked reality that lingered. Was I imagining things? Surely it was a coincidence. I clung to disbelief like a lifeline. Had someone played a prank? Did the camera mislabel the date? Surely old tech could cause malfunctions, right? I convinced myself of just that as I rifled through the other mundane images. Yet, deep inside me, apprehension began to twist into something darker. I could feel dread coiling like a serpent as I resolved to investigate. This was just the beginning, but clarity was elusive, like a shadow that slipped away whenever I lunged for it. I thought this was just a fluke until I examined the rest of the roll. The first few images had been innocent, but then, tumbling out of the depths, I faced another photo that sent shivers down my spine. Me, at my mom's birthday party, holding a cake that hadn't yet happened. The date showed last summer. Another clicked in my mind, rattling around with possibilities that felt too twisted to consider. I dismissed the idea that there were connections between time and these images. It seemed unfathomable. Each event captured felt like some kind of predictive power, leading me deeper into confusion. As the reality of what I was investigating solidified, I craved answers. A sense of agency drove me to consult friends and online communities. But nothing felt rational anymore. Questions would flutter from their lips and burst apart into anxious laughter. Belief suspended, but something was undeniably wrong. The growing list of impossible events mounted. Too many instances where my presence converged with the fabric of time woven backwards. I began a journal detailing the orders of events. With each passing hour, the pattern revealed itself, slightly tearing away the illusion of comfort and revealing sinister chords that plucked at the edges of my reality. What had started as an exploration into the past transformed into a chilling paranoia, the photographs glimmering with the promise of futures I couldn't escape. Comment below, have you ever found something from a family member that felt deeply wrong, that captured events that shouldn't have been possible? I need to know I'm not alone in feeling this way. As I continue to explore more images, each pool exposed increasingly personal and disturbing content. The photos didn't just keep memories, they created a timeline I couldn't control. They stripped away the remnants of my past. I discovered the snapshots did not stop. They continued to twist, continuing to predict and prolong events further into the future. I couldn't escape my fate. Moments occurred that I had never anticipated, connected at odd intervals on an invisible thread of time. Searching for what could possibly deny or clarify gave me no reprieve. No amount of reading could unravel these truths. I spun deeper into the web of time paradoxes, uncovering more anomalies. My mom's warnings becoming clearer yet more obscured with each revelation. I leaned heavily on research. I dove into articles of quantum physics while engaging in conversations that left me feeling heavier with dread. In studying these phenomena, I realized I was living through an inescapable paradox. Yet none of this mattered when juxtaposed against reality. The pictures were echoing not only moments of my past, but unsettling portals into my future. My sense of identity began to splinter, and I recalled times I dismissed as mundane, suddenly distorted into tragedies I had yet to comprehend. Want to explore real-life cases of these temporal anomalies with me? Join as a channel member for exclusive access to deeper, darker content that I can't share here. The walls closed in around me with an oppressive weight as I noted parallels between the photographs and my present life. The conditions of innocence morphed into horrors beyond any typical nightmare. It was as if my actions had already been scripted for me, and I was a pawn within a cruel game. Was I being watched? A sense of surveillance lay thick in the air. The air buzzed with the consequence of decisions unmade. I attempted to reverse choices, retracing steps to commemorate my mom's memory. My exploration into her past became frantic, an avenue to rewrite as I rushed to the grave. When I arrived, I felt the world fade, the air growing rich around me as reality slipped like grains of sand between my fingers. I wasn't destined to just be a passive observer of the fabric being woven, and I was unspooling the threads of fate. In that moment, the ground beneath me quaked with revelation. The photographs became chains that bound me tighter into the abyss where time intertwined. I realized my desperate attempts to escape were futile, conforming to what had already been decided. It spoke volumes that led directly to the horror of confronting the truth. An intense wash of emotion mounted as it morphed into despair, leaking in the very essence of my being. If these insights about time and reality resonate deeply with you, hit that thanks button. Every contribution helps support these investigations into the unknown. The final photo was one of overwhelming sorrow. It captured the light pouring through the trees beside my mom's grave, her eyes vacant yet focused on me, the irony biting sharp. Now I could see it. To live was to be intertwined with sorrow, woven into a tapestry colored by choices reflected in history. Nothing could be changed, only accepted in the space of astonished silence. With each remembrance carefully documented in my mind, that ache transformed. It evolved into a sense of unity, though fraught with existential anxiety. My mother's voice whispered through each frame that held our sorrows. I could not separate the web of time that encased me. It was woven tighter around me, inviting me to witness even deeper revelations. In my ebook, I detail all the anomalies I uncovered, combining personal accounts with scientific insights. If you seek understanding, the link is in the description.
Time continued to morph before my eyes, and dread lingered like a shadow, initially creeping and becoming perpetual darkness. The cameras still sat in their box, treasures of both joy and sorrow. Last week, one of the cameras snapped a new picture. The date reads, tomorrow. In the end, what lies in those photographs still haunts me. Tenuous threads weave back into the fabric of existence, surrounding space and time itself. The conclusions remain blurred, echoes of something more profound. And what weight they bear haunts me still. Their stories resonate like whispers in the forgotten corners of my heart. I returned home after that haunting revelation, the final words echoing in my mind like a lingering refrain. The cameras sat on my desk, taunting me, their silence more deafening than any noise. I felt an odd compulsion to keep them close, as if they held the answers to riddles I hadn't even begun to understand. Glancing at the clock, I realized that time seemed to march on, indifferent to my spiraling thoughts. As shadows enveloped my room, I rifled through the remaining photos again, searching for meaning in what they depicted. Each image pulsed with an energy I could hardly comprehend, ghostly remnants of an existence pulling at the threads of my present. I remembered the joyful moments we had shared, yet now the memories twisted under a new light and began distorting in my mind. How could these pictures echo both the past and the future so profoundly? There was a photo of my cousin's wedding, vibrant and alive, but the date marked on it was wrong. An event I recalled, yet that year felt lost, empty. I flipped to another shot, a typical afternoon of walking my dog. Bittersweet nostalgia enveloped me. Yet it became evident that I was holding a photo of my beloved pet who had long since passed. The sensation of memory distorted into something sinister. I was traveling through time and space in ways I didn't wish to. The tension intensified with the growing evidence of impossible connections. Flipping through photos felt like opening a Pandora's box, releasing the unsettling truth of what lay ahead, a thread of fate I couldn't sever. Moments pieced together, intertwining laughter and heartache into a maddening spiral of paradoxical emotions. I reached a tipping point. I could no longer deny the truth emerging from these flimsy slides of film. Fueled by desperation for clarity, I consulted friends and even found online communities discussing similar occurrences. Yet as they shared their stories, I could tell skepticism hovered on their lips, laughing nervously at the thoughts I dared not voice. The list of impossible events I documented only grew longer, blurring the lines of what was real. Uncertainty enveloped me. I became frantic, jotting down everything I could remember. Each entry in my journal felt like a lifeline as the familiar semblance of time splintered around me. What began as an exploration into cherished memories devolved into a suffocating paranoia. My mom's warnings from beyond seemed both clearer and further obscured each time I pressed the shutter of the camera. I felt as though I was being watched. Fueled by an invisible urge, I felt compelled to confront these images rather than retreat. My exploration into her past morphed into a mission to rewrite the script of my reality. As I stepped outside into the crisp air of dusk, I tried to rationalize my actions, yet unease lingered like a specter. Reality's fabric felt as though it was unraveling, leaving me questioning each direction given by the paths of fate. I approached her grave, where it felt the sheer weight of the world pressed down. As I knelt, I struggled against the fleeting flow of time. What emerged in the quiet was not just sorrow, but a blossoming understanding. I was intertwined with a fate crafted long before I comprehended. If I could peer closely enough, perhaps I could unlock what had been bound in time, awakening the truths both terrifying and awe-inspiring. With each moment of clarity, despair seeped in. What was I to do with this knowledge? Could it ever truly lead to liberation, or was it merely a trap of temporality binding me tighter? Every photograph piled on my desk now posed these relentless questions, desperate to find a thread amidst the chaos. A thread leading back to my mother, who may have known more about this unraveling tapestry than I could ever comprehend. If these insights about time and reality resonate deeply with you, hit that thanks button. Each contribution helps support these investigations into the unknown. The air around my mom's grave felt heavy with secrets as I knelt there, grappling with not just grief, but the burgeoning understanding that hidden truths could transcend the boundaries of time. I closed my eyes, allowing the memories to wash over me. The warmth of her hand on mine, her laughter dancing around us during holiday gatherings. All of it felt so real yet so fleeting, lost in the maelstrom of what was and what was to come. Each photograph rattled in my mind like a ghost long forgotten, pulling at the thin threads of memory with an urgency that clawed at my consciousness. I couldn't shake the sensation that the images were alive, each pixel buzzing with potent significance. Why had I never noticed before how intricately they wove the tapestry of my past and future together? What warnings hid behind the vibrant smiles and captured moments? Returning home felt surreal. I sat at my desk, the familiar surroundings transformed by the weight of revelation. The cameras lay in wait, their lenses dark and full of potential. The first few images had shown simple gatherings, but a new sense of urgency compelled me to examine the deeper implications of what lay within these captured moments. My heart raced at the thought of their power, a sense of foreboding creeping in as I recalled the recent photo dated for tomorrow. What might it foretell? As I thumbed through the snapshots once more, desperate to find answers, I couldn't escape the feeling that I was being watched. Each flick of the photo reflecting back an otherworldly gaze, scrutinizing me, evaluating my next move. The dread turned my skin cold. It was as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling around me, revealing not only my family's past, but futures I was yet to confront. Fueled by my growing paranoia and need for clarity, I reached out to friends. They rattled off their chaotic tales of odd coincidences and unnerving events, but skepticism colored their words, feeding the uncertainty gnawing at the back of my mind. I even scoured online forums for connections, threads of bizarre encounters that aligned with my own. The more I dug, the larger my list of impossible events grew, each entry a step deeper into a labyrinth of unanswered questions. Each day became an endless loop of anxiety, my journal filling with frantic notes documenting the bewildering revelations. What had begun as an innocent exploration soon spiraled into a consuming quest for understanding. It felt as if the remnants of my childhood were slipping away, while shadows of the future encroached ever nearer. It was time to gather the courage to confront this head-on. Standing up, I resolved to face it, not just the photographs, but also whatever secrets they held captive. As the dusk enveloped the world outside my window, casting distorted shadows in my room, I prepared to step beyond the confines of my fears. I had a mission: to rewrite the narratives foretold through those images, to unlock the essence of what my mother might have known, what she had kept hidden. And perhaps, in this unraveling journey, I'd not only discover the depths of familial ties, but might also unearth a way to navigate this convoluted maze of time my life had become. But the path ahead was laden with uncertainty. Was I altering the course of history, or merely revealing what had always been bound to surface? If you wish to dive into stories that explore similar intersections of reality and the fleeting nature of time, subscribe to the channel for more content. There are layers to this mystery yet to unveil, truths hiding in plain sight that could transform everything I'd ever known. The journey was just beginning, and I needed more eyes, more hearts to accompany me as I ventured further. The questions beckoned, the answers awaited, veiled in the shadows between what was, what is, and what could become. In the quiet hours of night, I sat surrounded by photographs and the remnants of my past, my heart heavy with urgency.
Each image felt electric, alive with the promise of memories yet to unfold. I needed to unlock their secrets, discover the connections that tangled my history with my present, and perhaps even foresee the future. My determination burned fiercely, and I could feel a sense of clarity beginning to coalesce within the chaos. I flipped through the photos once more, focusing intently, searching for themes, patterns, anything that could provide insight into the bizarre intersection of my reality and the mysterious flow of time. My fingers brushed over an image of a family barbecue from several years ago, vibrant colors bleeding together like memories still fresh in my mind. Yet the power of the snapshot felt tainted. The date handwritten on the corner now felt foreboding. Was this simply nostalgia or foreknowledge? It was here, amidst these mundane recollections, that dread reared its head. I had begun to feel a pressure forming in my chest as I realized how much I was uncovering about moments I hadn't yet experienced. My resolve steeled as I recalled a recent encounter, a fleeting glance exchanged with an old friend, where they spoke of their own inexplicable experiences with time. I needed to explore that further. Driven by an insatiable curiosity, I headed to my laptop. The glow of the screen reflected the determination etched on my features. I began typing furiously, diving into online forums dedicated to discussions of time anomalies and shared experiences with the unexplainable. What were the odds of others grappling with similar scenarios? I needed to find connections, thread my experiences into the greater fabric of understanding. As I combed through posts filled with personal testimonies, I found a community united by the exploration of time. Stories of lost moments, déjà vu, and visions that foretold the future felt eerily familiar. The kindred spirits I found were not dismissing abstract notions of time travel. They experienced the disquieting sensation of being entangled within its loop, just as I was. This shared anxiety turned into a wave of catharsis. I felt less isolated, more supported in this endeavor to understand the labyrinth of time unfolding around me. From these discussions, I found theories I had never encountered before. The concept of retrocausality began to take root in my mind. It proposed that the future could influence the past, a counterintuitive notion that opened the door to innumerable possibilities. If this were true, perhaps I could discover ways to alter the script of my own life. Could I manipulate those images for something more than recollection? Days turned into sleepless nights. I became consumed with the intensity of my exploration, meticulously recording everything in my journal. My once mundane writing transformed into desperate shrieks of confusion and wonder. Each entry chronicled not just dreams, but intricate narratives where time wove itself together across the fabric of existence. I scrawled theories and questions in chaotic formations, my mind flipping like the pages of the photographs I examined. An uneasy awareness lingered. Something monumental was coming, yet it hovered just outside my reach, like a whisper carried away by the wind. The future, veiled in mystery, felt both within my grasp and entirely insurmountable. I craved to intervene, to alter the flows of fate, and began to formulate a plan, a way to become not just a passive observer in this temporal dance, but an active participant. But the question remained, was tampering with the structure of time worth the risk? Each photo weighed heavier upon me as I mulled over potential consequences. What if I opened a door that led to irreparable damage within the vivid connections I cherished? If you're feeling that familiar pull toward the unknown, and if the questions echo inside you, take a moment to hit that like button. Your engagement not only encourages me to keep exploring these uncanny encounters, but unites us in this search for understanding the strange depths of our reality. As I prepared to delve deeper and plan my next steps, I felt a newfound fire ignite inside me. I would confront the disparities that danced between the lines of these photographs and traverse through the fragile threads of time binding me to everything I held dear. I had peered into the abyss, and now it was my turn to mold what lay beyond the shadows. The resolve coursed through my veins, shot through with determination. The images lined my desk like a city skyline, beckoning me to unravel the mysteries waiting just out of reach. The flickering light of my desk lamp cast elongated shadows across the photographs strewn out before me, and the weight of their implications stirred a tumult of thoughts in my mind. I felt like a cartographer, charting unexplored territories on the map of my life, even as uncertainty clouded my vision. Each snapshot beckoned me, whispering secrets that hovered just beyond my grasp, secrets rich with the potential to alter everything I thought I understood. I decided to focus on the most distorted memories first. Picking up the photo from my cousin's wedding, I examined the details. People laughing, clinking glasses, and an atmosphere buzzing with joy. But the date stood stark against the otherwise joyous scene, an anomaly that shifted my perception entirely. I recalled the year it should have been, 2018, but the date listed was 2023. My heart raced as I felt dread tighten around me like a noose. I had attended that wedding months ago, yet here it hung like a beacon of something future-bound. Was this a cue of what was to come? The implications rolled over me like a wave, nearly drowning me in fear. But rather than retreating from this discomfort, I steeled myself. I needed to delve into the connections lurking within these photographs. Sifting through the pile, I pulled out an image that caught my breath. It was a candid shot of my family on a quiet afternoon. In the background, a storm was brewing in the distance, a detail I had overlooked before. Its date, marked for the upcoming weekend, made my skin tingle. In just a few days, a storm would roll in. But why had I never seen it before? Were these images laying out my path, warning me of the tempest to come? I felt the grip of intuition tightening. It was impossible not to see the web forming before me. Each photo wove threads that interconnected pivotal moments of my life with future visits into the unknown. My family wasn't merely appearing in recollections. They were bound to tie into events yet to unfold, moments infused with significance beyond what I had once thought possible. I needed to test these theories, chase the echoes murmuring just beneath the surface. I set about investigating every photo carefully, relating them each to conversations I'd shared, to memories long buried, and to emotions often ignored. A mental kaleidoscope of moments I had brushed aside or trivialized began to coalesce into a shattered reflection of my reality. As dawn approached, I was worn down, yet invigorated. I pushed through sheer exhaustion, filling my journal with ink until my hand ached, frantically mapping out timelines and patterns, seeking the truth behind these temporal anomalies. I constructed theories, piecing together fragments of my life like a jigsaw puzzle, constructing possibilities that surged with energy I couldn't yet comprehend. That was when the thought hit me. The images were not simply moments captured. They were moments that could be reshaped. Each photo may function as a portal, and who was I to remain passive within its embrace? I could attempt to navigate these disturbances in time, reclaim choice from the grasp of fate. As I became increasingly engrossed, the urge to share this newfound wisdom consumed me. If others were, as I was, on the precipice of similar discovery, it could help consolidate our understanding. I opened my laptop and created a post detailing my findings about the photographs, piecing together my theories of all I had learned thus far. I begged for insights and experiences, knowing there had to be others craving clarity amidst the shadows. As the sun finally broke the horizon, bathing my room in golden light, the tingle of anticipation buzzed in my fingertips. I hit post and waited. The responses came quickly, a chorus of voices echoing my own experiences. Each comment resonated deeply, feelings shared, fears unveiled, and the knowledge that I was not alone in this strange journey unfolded like a blooming flower. It struck me.
It wasn't just that others had faced similar encounters. They were seeking to uncover significant meanings, sharing wisdom forged in the fires of their own searching. From tales of déjà vu to whispers of historical events reshaped, it was as if we were all unraveling a hidden historical narrative that tied our lives together. Some comments stirred excitement, while others reflected confusion. Yet a singular thread remained. Everyone was desperate for clarity. Did these photographs serve as a roadmap to guide our choices, or were they mere echoes of disjointed moments that had already run their course? As I absorbed their insights, one response rose to the surface. Have you ever felt like time was watching you? Like the past and future were plotting something? It resonated deeply. I couldn't shake that bone-deep feeling of being evaluated, as if I held a role in a narrative far larger than I could grasp. That was when it hit me. I needed to bridge the gap between my research and my experiences. I called upon every ounce of courage within me, determined to script my journey across time, defy those constraints laid before me, and interact boldly with whatever force governed this strange dance of existence. If your own experiences align with these strange happenings, drop a comment below. I need to know I'm not alone in navigating this uncanny threshold of existence. We can explore this together, a community forged within the labyrinth of time, reaching toward understanding where the shadows of uncertainty lie heavy. We have much to uncover, and perhaps together we can illuminate these dark corners of the tapestry intertwined with fate. The journey ahead was shrouded in uncertainty, but I could feel the presence of something powerful steadily unfolding, a promise wrapped in the haze of time. And there was no turning back now. I was ready to chase after the truth, ready to confront whatever lay waiting beyond the dark. The stillness of the night wrapped around me like a thick fog as I immersed myself in the collection of photographs. The shadows deepened, and each image felt like a portal, a flash of potential brimming with uncharted tales. I carefully scrutinized each snapshot, feeling as though they held keys to unlock the dimensional doors of time. The implications weighed on my mind, demanding my full attention. Staring at the wedding photo again, the stark date of 2023 burned in my mind. I recalled the laughter and warmth from that day, but lingering beneath it was the undeniable sense of foreboding. Was my own reality bending in ways I was yet to fully comprehend? I needed to determine how these photographs could connect my past with what lay ahead. I shifted my focus to a pile of images that spanned years of cherished memories. Familiar faces, moments of joy, yet they shimmered with an intensity that felt foreign. My fingers tingled as their surfaces seemed almost alive, each a thread in the tapestry I sought to unravel. Why were they whispering warnings to me of storms and unforeseen paths yet to be traveled? In that moment, the quiet weight of insight dawned upon me. For every picture taken, there lingered unseen possibilities. I was no longer merely navigating memories. I had the potential to become an architect of my own fate. What if I could influence the stories buried in each shot? A bold idea replaced my anxiety. I would not just witness the flow of time. I would harness its currents. I began sketching out a plan that encompassed documenting my findings, possible warnings, and even choices drawn from those images. My resolve strengthened as I outlined my intention to engage actively with my journey. I envisioned sharing my insights beyond the online forum, perhaps even writing a more detailed account that explored the intersections of past experiences, time's peculiar twists, and memories intricate enough to influence future choices. I felt like a pioneer forging a path into the wild unknown. The essence of my mother's encouragement rang in my ears, as if she were urging me to push forward and dare to explore the mysteries of existence. I could see it now. The photographs were not merely relics of memory, but presentiments wrapped in nostalgia, preparing me for events yet to unfurl. This realization filled me with an exhilarating mixture of fear and readiness. With my heart racing, I opened my laptop and navigated back to the discussion forum, eager to share my newly formed thoughts. What if we can actively participate in the narratives these photographs point to? I started my post. These images might not only capture our past, they could be shaping our futures as well. The words flowed with fervor as I detailed my experiences, urging others to reflect on how snapshots in time might be guiding their lives too. After crafting my post, I hesitated momentarily before sending it into the digital ether. Would others resonate with my thoughts? Would they join me on this inquiry? I pressed the post button, adrenaline coursing through me as the message transcended the boundaries of isolation and uncertainty. Almost immediately, responses began to trickle in, their themes resonating with both validation and caution. Many expressed excitement, sharing astonishingly similar experiences of feeling guided or forewarned by seemingly innocuous moments captured in photos. A chorus of recognition emerged as I realized this wasn't just my journey, it was ours, a collective exploration into the labyrinth of time that enveloped all of us. One comment lingered with particular weight. "Thank you for sharing this. Your words echo the feelings I've had but couldn't articulate." A warm gratitude pooled within me, knowing that vulnerability and openness had connected us. The shadows of uncertainty began to recede as each inquiry, each observation threaded us tighter together. In that moment, amidst the gathering of diverse voices, I understood a new truth. This exploration extended beyond the confines of time. It was a bridge, an invitation to delve deeper into the consciousness shared between us. If these revelations resonate with you, and if you find yourself intrigued by these extraordinary entanglements within time, don't hesitate. Hit that thanks button. Your support fuels my desire to uncover even more about these uncanny phenomena. Every click leads us closer to understanding the mysteries woven through our lives. Determined to carry this momentum forward, I returned to my desk where the photographs lay waiting with stories yet to tell. A surge of anticipation coursed through me. The thrill of uncovering the unknown beckoned. My journey was far from over. Rather, it was blossoming into a vibrant tapestry of experiences entwined with the temporal threads of fate. Each photograph invited me in, ready to reveal its secrets, and I was ready to answer the call. The atmosphere in my room crackled with anticipation as I returned to the photographs, each image overflowing with memories and hidden meanings. I felt as if I were standing on the edge of a chasm, gazing into its depths, ready to leap into the unknown. The implications of my discovery that each photograph might be a portal to a different reality invoked both terror and exhilaration. I imagined weaving my story anew, crafting it with intention rather than merely allowing it to unfold. My pulse quickened as I examined each frame again. Infused with layers of past moments intertwined with potential futures, they were alive with secrets waiting to be revealed. This time, I approached them with a new sense of purpose. I would dissect the connections, the patterns. What if these visual threads could influence the choices that lay ahead? With renewed determination, I turned to my laptop and opened a document, feverishly typing out the questions that burned in my mind. What if I could rewrite some of my past choices, I pondered. What if, by understanding these connections, I could harness their energy to influence what's next? Each theory I formulated felt like a step deeper into a labyrinth, twisting and turning as my mind raced to keep up. I knew my exploration could help others too, especially those who felt the dissonance between the past and future reverberating in their lives. It was time to solidify this collective quest, journeying through these complexities together. Inspired, I returned to the online forum to share my next bold step. "Let's cultivate this community further," I wrote, my fingers flying over the keys. "Join the channel membership. It will be a space dedicated to exploring the intricacies of memory and time. Together, we can engage in discussions, share insights, and cross-examine our findings. We'll become a network of seekers navigating the tapestry of our intertwined timelines. My heart swelled with excitement as I envisioned a grand tapestry woven from our experiences and explorations. The responses began to flood in as soon as I hit post. Voices chimed in, resonating with excitement for the idea of a dedicated space to pursue our inquiries. "I'm in!" exclaimed one member. "Count me among the adventurers delving into this interplay among memories and future pathways." Each response filled me with a sense of belonging, the idea that we were crafting something truly unique together. As the dialogue unfolded, I sensed a powerful synergy forming within the community. People shared their photographs and experiences, correlations with their lives that revealed uncanny similarities and unsettling foretellings. This wasn't just me grappling with my own introspection. It was a shared journey many had been voyaging on, though perhaps in solitude. Amidst the chatter appeared an inquiry that struck right to my core. How can we ensure we don't just observe these anomalies, but actively participate in shaping our destinies? This question challenged me to rethink my approach. It resonated within the fabric of our conversations, a beckoning for deeper thought and engagement. Unearthing insights became an essential quest in our exploration. By analyzing the photographs collectively, we could connect the dots of time, much like detectives unraveling a case steeped in mystery. I envisioned shared sessions where we could discuss individual findings, brainstorm new theories, and decode the encoded messages hidden in our selected images. If you're drawn to this journey, join the channel membership now, I reiterated in my posts. Together, we can transcend the boundaries of our individual timelines and amplify our collective voice as we unearth the boundless knowledge that these photographs hold. With every message exchanged, I felt a burgeoning camaraderie. It wasn't merely a mutual understanding. It was a powerful connection built on shared experiences and aspirations. The past was no longer shackled by the weight of recollection. It was a canvas that promised to be reimagined with each stroke of insight and intent. The excitement blossomed like spring flowers breaking free from the frost, each contribution igniting new ideas and propelling us forward. Each photograph analyzed boosted our collective consciousness, shedding light on pathways we might previously have overlooked. As dawn crept into my room, casting a golden glow across my desk, I felt ready to embrace everything that lay ahead. There was still so much to uncover, so many threads to unravel, and I was no longer doing it alone. We held power and responsibility in revealing our narratives, exploring together what it truly meant to co-create our destinies within the web of time. This journey had transformed into a shared expedition, and I was exhilarated at the thought of where we might go next. As morning light spilled into my room, infusing it with warmth and clarity, I felt the high of possibility swell inside me. Our online community was vibrant, pulsing with energy and excitement, a tangible reflection of the shared journey we had embarked upon. I glanced at the stack of photographs on my desk, now imbued with a sense of significance I had never fully grasped until this moment. It was time to dive deeper into our exploration. I logged back into the forum and began sifting through the new threads, eager to absorb every perspective shared. Each post felt like a thread unraveling the intricate tapestry of our experiences. One member shared a haunting photograph, their childhood home, taken long ago, yet appearing eerily alive. They described the sense of déjà vu and conviction that the house held stories that transcended time. Another recounted dreams that mirrored images from their past, drawing connections between their lived experiences and the snapshots they once thought were merely nostalgic captures. These stories fueled a growing desire within me to encapsulate our findings, to map out the patterns we were uncovering. The more I reflected on the cyclical nature of our memories, the more I understood the power each photograph held. It wasn't just about what was captured, but the resonance it created in our lives. We were at the edge of an understanding that could shift our perceptions, and I wanted to document our journey in a cohesive way, to explore the intersection of memory, time, and choice. As I clicked through each comment, another thought flashed in my mind: the possibility of publishing our collective insights. A full exploration documenting not just my journey, but the stories of others. The inquiries posed, the connections drawn, and the revelations made could serve as a guide for others who might stumble upon similar anomalies. Imagine, I began typing in a new post, creating an ebook that encompasses the myriad experiences we're sharing. A compilation of our dialogues, expanded theories, and personal chronicles that could help illuminate the path for those grappling with their timelines. I could see it now. An anthology of stories and discoveries birthed from our intertwined connections, the wisdom forged in the fires of shared experience. Each page could serve not only as a collection of voices, but as a resource for readers to explore their own photographs and relationships with time. Within moments of hitting post, replies began to pour in, mirroring my excitement. "This is such a fantastic idea," one member wrote. "I'd love to share my story about how my grandfather's photos helped me reconnect with my family history." Another echoed, "Absolutely count me in. I've been reflecting on my own photos and would love to contribute." The collective enthusiasm ignited my ambition further. I couldn't help but feel that this was our moment, a chance to shape a narrative woven together from the fabric of our shared experiences. As I continued reading through the responses, I focused on how I would assemble our discoveries into something coherent yet transformative. Each story varied, yet they shared a fundamental thread: the intention to explore and understand. I began to draft an outline for the ebook, starting with an introduction to the themes we'd discussed. Our reconnection to memories, the tactile nature of photographs as keys to understanding time, and the choice to engage actively with our past. I envisioned sections filled with personal testimonies, insights, and even investigations into the psychological implications of how we related to our histories and futures. "This will not just be a book," I reminded myself. "It will be a guide for those who dare to think differently." I could almost picture the final product, a tangible artifact encapsulating our journey, insights, and theories, each page resonating with the voices of those who dared to embark on a quest of self-discovery. While drafting the structure, I felt a wave of exhilaration, knowing I wasn't doing this alone. We were amplifying each other's voices, weaving a narrative that embraced the complexities of time rather than shying away from them. This would be something extraordinary, a collaborative work framed by the fleeting yet potent nature of our memories. "Stay tuned, everyone," I typed in my next post. "This ebook will be a reflection of the truths we uncover together. I can't wait to see where our exploration leads us." And if you're feeling inspired by this project, consider showing your support. Grab the complete ebook when it's out. It will include the depth of our findings and insights, a resource you won't want to miss. The collective creativity felt electric, each of us contributing our pieces to the puzzle. As I pulled my gaze from the screen, I felt a wave of gratitude wash over me. This was more than an exploration of time. We were forging connections that would ripple through our lives long after this journey had formally concluded. And so, with renewed purpose, I set out to deepen my observations of the photographs that had initiated this wild ride. I couldn't wait to meld our stories, insights, and discoveries into something beautiful and transformative. A beacon that could illuminate the intricacies of time and memory for anyone who dared to seek it, as we had. The warmth of the morning sun poured through my window, illuminating my workspace as I continued crafting the outline for our ebook. I felt a palpable buzz in the air, as if the walls themselves thrummed with potential. With every key press and handwritten note on the side, I sensed a burgeoning entity forming, something far beyond the scope of a mere compilation. This was an exploration, a community effort to decipher the threads connecting our pasts and futures. The posts and comments from my community echoed around me, their enthusiasm acting like a soothing balm that dispelled my lingering doubts. I revisited the myriad experiences shared on the forum, imagining how to stitch them into a coherent narrative. There was power in our collective acknowledgement of something greater at play, a unifying force guiding us through the anomalies of time. The more I wrote, the more I realized this ebook would take shape not just as a book, but as a living document. It would evolve with each new contributor, with each revelation we uncovered together. Suddenly, the prospect of dedicating a chapter to each member's unique experience sparked a new wave of excitement in me, a personal touch that would enthrall anyone who delved into its pages. As I began to flesh out the ideas, I envisioned sections titled Echoes from the Past, where narratives of our childhood memories would intertwine with reflective lessons we learned. Another could be Portals to Our Futures, exploring how those photographs hinted at pathways yet to unfold. I felt a visceral thrill knowing we were taking something intangible, our shared experiences, and giving it a tangible form. But in my heart, I knew that we could go one step further, to weave an invitational thread throughout, urging readers to discover their own paths, much like we had, encouraging them to look closely at their photographs, read between the lines of their stories, and consider how their choices echoed across time. Each page would serve as a guide for others to journey through the same dense forest with an illuminating lantern we forged together. I took a moment, inhaling deeply as I leaned back in my chair. The excitement racing through me was soon tinged with apprehension. Would anyone find value in our collective narratives? How could I be sure this exploration truly resonated with anyone beyond just our group? It was time to step back and engage with our community again, to gather their input on expanding our inquiry scope. I returned to the forum, my fingers dancing over the keys as I wrote. After reflecting on our experiences, I feel the call to ensure that our ebook serves as more than just an artifact of our exploration. I want it to be a guide and an invitation for all who encounter it to join in the journey and find their own relationships with time. I continued with a proposal for a collaborative brainstorming session that would bring us all together. Ideas shared freely without any barriers, all participants equally involved in shaping the direction our work would take. As I pressed post, a refreshing rush of anticipation surged within me, and I quickly realized I wasn't just a facilitator, but a participant in this unfolding narrative as well. Every voice mattered, and together we'd find ways to illuminate the roads lying in shadows. Once again, the responses from my fellow community members felt like fireworks igniting in my chest. Discussions erupted, crafting vast webs of ideas with threads extending in unimaginable directions. Let's dive deeper, one member suggested. What if we include chapters dedicated to the realities we've altered? How our photographs hold memories intertwined with choices we might still make? My pulse quickened as suggestions flooded in, creativity pouring forth from every direction. It felt almost mystical, this collaboration. Strangers united through shared curiosity, eager to unravel the fabric of their histories and futures while intertwining our experiences into a cohesive narrative. I was caught in the swell of inspiration as we transformed our digital space into a bustling hive of creativity. Then, amid the thread of excitement, I noticed a comment that stood out. This project is captivating, and your enthusiasm is contagious. If anyone feels inclined to support the depth of this initiative, don't forget to hit that thanks button. That simple affirmation set off a ripple of supportive responses, members expressing their desire to embrace the ethos of collaboration through the framework of financial support. I smiled, realizing we were building more than an ebook. We were cultivating a movement rooted in inquiry, curiosity, and now mutual encouragement to push forth on our journey. Thank you for the reminder, I replied, feeling a sense of unity in this call to action. If this exploration resonates with you, and if you feel inclined to support our work as we gather these threads into something greater, hit that thanks button. Your support can ensure that we not only disseminate our discoveries far and wide, but also invite more voices into this conversation, each one adding their crucial perspectives. As those words settled in the forum, the responses continued to bloom. The simple idea of boosting our resources to enhance our reach reverberated like a sonorous wave of affirmation. The community felt alive with passion and momentum. We were no longer just discussing, we were actively participating in a shared adventure that could illuminate countless lives, including our own. With every moment spent in this collective endeavor, I could feel the weight of uncertainty lift as we forged ahead into the unknown together. The joy of collaboration fueled my belief that we were on the cusp of something remarkable, a shared resonance and understanding reflecting through time, inviting all to rediscover the magic encased within their photographs. My resolve solidified. This would not just be an exploration into our past, it would be a bridge to the futures we'd collectively manifest. I returned to the draft in front of me, determination blooming anew, ready to weave our experiences and insights into a powerful narrative. We were all explorers of the labyrinth of time, encouraging each other to uncover what lay hidden among the shadows. And there was absolutely no turning back now. As the days turned into a whirlwind of creative fervor, the momentum in our community surged even further. My desk, once cluttered with photographs and scattered notes, gradually transformed into a cohesive workspace filled with vibrant ideas and insights from the collective. Each interaction, each shared story propelled us deeper into understanding the complex nature of time and memory. The excitement was infectious. We began our collaborative sessions, sharing screens, discussing our photographs, and recording our evolving thoughts as a team. Each session revealed new perspectives, the importance of viewing our memories not just as static relics, but as dynamic entities capable of reforming our narrative paths. I marveled at the synergy as we drew on our individual experiences to enrich our exploration. One session in particular struck me. A member shared their photograph of a family gathering taken years ago, and with it, they recounted the connection they'd felt with one specific moment. The laughter shared, the toast raised, and the subtle conversations lingering nearby. Each word was woven with emotion, as if sharing this memory also illuminated pathways they had yet to walk. We often think of time as linear, they said, eyes gleaming. But what if every memory is a thread that connects us to multiple futures? Each time we revisit these moments, we're given the opportunity to reshape our choices. I felt a chill run down my spine, for it encapsulated everything we were delving into, a profound truth enveloping the essence of our inquiry. Eagerly, I jotted down ideas in my notebook, imagining how this realization would fit beautifully into the ebook we were crafting together. We needed to explore how each moment captured could serve as a catalyst for transformation, whether by providing comfort, igniting inspiration, or serving as a warning. The night we dedicated to outlining our findings solidified our ambitions. As the discussion steered toward putting our final chapter plans together, I envisioned including a section on time travelers, each of us recounting the ways we had vigilantly transformed our lives by revisiting our memories. I wanted this chapter to exemplify our collective belief that we could shape our destinies consciously and consistently through the exercise of deep reflection. Imagine, I proposed eagerly, an entire chapter devoted to the idea that our past choices prepare us for present challenges. It could serve as a guide, showing others how they too can revisit their past to sculpt their present and future. Everyone was drawn into that vision, each individual offering insights into their experiences, creating a vibrant tapestry of narratives intertwined with lessons learned. It was incredibly humbling to witness a space where vulnerability and strength coalesced, where every memory shared helped illuminate the paths we yearned to share with others. As I looked into the faces of my community during those sessions, I often felt we were navigating uncharted waters, drifting through rippling dimensions of time. It was exhilarating, and, until that moment, I never realized how treacherous the journey could be. Soul-searching felt vital yet daunting. Due to this gravity, I recognized that the urgency to push our ebook project forward had become increasingly pressing. It was no longer sufficient to simply assemble our narratives.
We needed to assure that they reached others, strangers who might be navigating a similar journey, clinging to the same doubts and discoveries. With newfound resolve, I opened the forum one evening and posted, "We've harnessed so much collective wisdom. Now it's time to ensure our findings reach those who need them most. Let's finalize our ebook." Eagerly, I typed out an outline on how we would present our chapters and call upon the community to contribute any last-found reflections, insights, or stories. If you're inspired by this quest, when the ebook is published, grab the complete ebook. It will house everything we've uncovered together. Your support will allow us to distribute our findings widely, inviting others into this intricate web we've created. Responses came swiftly, fortified by encouragement. "I can't wait to see it all come together," one member chimed.
This is a powerful initiative. I believe it can help others find their voices as we have. The buzz invigorated me, and I could feel our ambition escalate. We were no longer simply creating a resource, but a legacy. As our published timeline loomed closer, I unveiled more metrics in our forum on the aspects we had yet to finalize: the design format, the contributors' acknowledgments, and, notably, our call to action for supporting the ebook's release. The depth of our findings will serve to enhance our community of explorers, I reminded everyone. After all, this isn't just about documenting memories. It's about making connections that transcend time, inviting and empowering others to navigate their timelines. The air was thick with anticipation as we neared the final stages of our ebook's production. I envisioned how important it would be for readers to feel the pulse of our shared narratives beating strongly as they leafed through each page. The momentum that had carried us since the beginning inexorably woven into the fabric of our collective journey. With each step closer to publication, I felt grounded by the overwhelming sense of purpose that enveloped us all. We were embarking on a transformative journey through time and memory, reflecting upon the intricate layers of experiences illuminated by nostalgia. And now, more than ever, I understood that the journey continued beyond our pages. It was an echo reverberating through time, reaching out to those still searching for their own revelations, inviting them to gather their memories, confront their past, and forge new paths into their futures. I felt excited about what lay ahead and couldn't wait for others to join us on this extraordinary odyssey. The moment finally arrived when our ebook was ready for publication. I sat at my desk, heart pounding in anticipation as I prepared to click the publish button, a gesture that encapsulated all our hard work and shared stories. The culmination of our voices, woven together in a tapestry of insights and memories, would soon be available to anyone seeking to understand their timelines. As I reflected on how far we had come, a mix of exhilaration and apprehension washed over me. This journey had transformed into something profound, reminding us that our pasts were reflections of our potential futures. I scrolled through the final proofs, savoring each chapter. The communal stories of time travelers beckoned, highlighting how every memory served as a thread connecting us to new possibilities. Finally, I hit the button, a flood of relief and excitement surging through me. Notifications from the community started pouring in, celebrating our achievement. "We did it!" exclaimed one member. Each message reinforced the significance of our collective effort. This was more than just an ebook. It was a movement.
Let's keep this momentum going, I posted eagerly. Share your thoughts and insights with others who might benefit from our explorations. The community buzzed with enthusiasm, each member becoming a torchbearer, ready to spread our discoveries far and wide. As responses flooded in, a clear realization dawned within me. Our exploration was a spiral, reaching outwards to invite others on a similar journey, encouraging them to gather their memories and confront their pasts. I felt a sense of unity blossom. We were shaping something lasting. With every moment leading us closer to impact, I understood that our work transcended the pages of the ebook. It echoed through time and space, offering invitations to discover personal timelines, stitching together our collective stories into a broader narrative. After sharing the final call to action for supporting the ebook's release, I took a moment to soak in the enthusiasm. If you're inspired by our quest, grab the complete ebook when it's published. Your support will help us reach others who might still be searching for their own revelations. Settling back in my chair, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The journey wasn't solely about documenting memories. It was about the connections we forged, the understanding that would ripple through lives. The adventure we had started was far from over. It was merely the beginning. With the world now open to our collective exploration, I knew we would continue weaving stories and illuminating paths, inviting others to join us in this extraordinary dance through time.